Every week, I watch the show, and I want to come on here and say something other than Cody's a loser. And every week, he comes across as such an incredibly dysfunctional, ineffective, and selfish father and husband. Week after week. Let's start off by talking about his interactions with Meri. So Janelle and Cody go in the RV, and they drive up to Parowan to Meri's bed and breakfast, which apparently she is living there most of the time now because in the last week's episode, he'd recommended it. So she's isolated there. They go and visit, and he's being interviewed describing his relationship with Meri.
I feel like my relationship with Meri is very good, but it's not a married situation. But I don't think it's a fulfilling relationship for Meri, not in any way.
And it was just this weird sort of disconnect. He goes, I'm really happy. I don't think she is. I don't care if she is. It doesn't really matter if she is because I'm happy with our totally platonic relationship.
My relationship with Cody has not improved as far as like a husband and wife relationship. Like that's not something that he's interested in. I mean, it just is what it is.
It just reminded me of last season, the end of last season. Cody was talking to the interviewer and he was saying, look, the reason why I am not willing to sleep with Christine is I don't trust her. There's too much friction, and I'm not willing to sleep. You know, intimacy is it's so important that we have a connection and that I don't feel animosity. Essentially, the subtext was she's not loyal to me, so I'm punishing her by withholding sex. And then in this season, he's describing Meri, and he's saying, I have no need to punish her. We're totally lined out, and yet there's no sexual relationship happening there. So to me, it just feels very clear that he's simply not interested in having sex with Christine. He's not interested in having sex with Meri. And then in this episode, we learn more about his relationship with Janelle. And Cody, is complaining about moving in the RV, and he's complaining about this and that. And he's talking about how he doesn't want to move into the RV for all kinds of reasons because, he wants his wives to make it, convenient for him, and the RV is not convenient. But he doesn't want the dogs to be in Janelle's bed. And he's saying, look, this is a sacred area. And then smash cut to Janelle saying,
yeah, dude, I'm sorry. Like you're here one day in 4, maybe 3. And I'll choose the dogs.
Very clear to me that Christine couldn't take it anymore and she left. She wasn't willing to settle. But Janelle and Meri also can't take him. They also don't really like being in a marriage with him. They're just willing to be there because they like the family, they like the security, they can make a life without Cody, and they're fine with it. But there's no healthy relationship between any of those three and Cody. But that's no surprise. What I did find to be exceptionally frustrating was hearing Cody describe the relationship he has with his older kids. And he talks about how many of his kids don't feel connected to him and he doesn't feel connected to them, and there's this friction and frustration. And Cody's reaction to it is, I don't know why they're so cold. With Isabel, I don't know why she's uncomfortable with me. I'm not an ogre. And you see Cody not recognizing his role in it. His answer when being interviewed is, look, some of the wives have made it easy for me to create strong relationships with the kids, and other wives have worked against me. And it's such a bullshit response. I can't, it's like a pet peeve of mine when parents go halfway into a relationship with their kids. And as I'm saying this, I'm recognizing, well, Cody has something like 16 or 17 kids, so it must be really hard. Then the answer is don't have so many kids. If you're going to have, I don't care how many kids you have, if you're going to have a child, it is your responsibility to develop and maintain that relationship with that kid. For Cody to turn around and be like, it's Christine's fault because Christine hasn't made it easy for me to cultivate a relationship with Isabel is the most insane reaction ever. It's so self-centered and misguided. And I hate the fact that he is able to talk himself out of feeling bad. I think he should feel ashamed. And I think he should actively work to make sure it never happens again. And he should actively work to repair the relationship with Isabel. So it's like, look, and then of course, as it relates to Truly, he's all of a sudden, he's all in on the relationship. And I think he should be all in. I think it's good that he is going to get a room for her at Robyn's house and that he's going to spend 2 or 3 days with her a week and to help the transition. I think all of that makes sense. I'm sure that Christine is freaking pissed that he's doing it now and he didn't do it before. it's just he just parents like convenient whack-a-mole. Whatever issue pops up that he wants to be involved in, that's what he goes to. But if there's a kid that's struggling, that he doesn't feel connected to, that lives far away, who is parented by a mom that he's in a fight with, then he just ignores them, right? It's just shitty. And then the last thing I think it's worth talking about is, how do you tell a kid that you're getting divorced? And I think that that Cody and Christine's intention of telling truly together makes a lot of sense. And Cody and Christine's intention to make that to co-parent, to make the transition as seamless as possible, I think is wonderful. Having her here because True's on the phone talking to somebody else, I can imagine would be devastating. I was impressed with the way that Christine handled it. I think it was good that she didn't hedge, right? Once Truly knew, I think it was good for her to say, yeah, we're divorced. Have you noticed anything different? We can still have a healthy relationship with your other siblings. We can still live the life that you want. This would be, you know what I mean? I think she did a good job of ripping the Band-Aid off versus getting uncomfortable and saying, no, it hasn't happened yet. She could have hedged to make it an easier conversation, but I think she made the right decision. The next step should be to have Cody over. They should sit down with her together, talk about what Truly's life's going to be like moving forward. Before you go, I do have one question or a request. When I look at Cody's parenting or performance as a husband, I think it's abhorrent. But I recognize that I'm looking at him through a monogamous lens, and I'm someone that has no exposure to his faith. And so I wonder how much of this is expected in a polygamous family, expected as far as where the husband's attention goes. Robyn is younger than Meri, and so, in her she's still having kids and Meri is not having kids anymore. Is that how it's supposed? I'm wondering if anybody knows. Let me know in the comments. And actually, I would be happy to interview somebody if you are in that faith and are comfortable. I would love to interview you for my channel. I'll put a video up. I want to know, what is this supposed to look like in a functioning family versus what we're seeing with the Browns? So please reach out. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for listening.